You're listening to This Week in Property. Stay current, relevant and up to date in the world of property investment. Learn from the UK's leading property professionals and grow your property business.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Property. I'm your host Richard Swan, and I have just had the absolute joy, the privilege of sitting down and having a chat with Michelle Niziol. Now, if you're looking for a woman with passion, with drive, with dedication, with a work ethic, I'm going to repeat the word again, with a passion for business, for property, for investing, for helping others, then we have definitely found it in Michelle. This is a lady who gets so much done, it is frightening. A huge number of businesses, serving loads of clients, an amazing background throughout financial parts of the industry, through mortgage fields, letting fields. I mean, it's amazing what she's ticked off along her journey. But where she is now, mainly, dealing with bespoke investments for clients, helping so many first-time buyers with some of the events that she mentions in the show, helping so many people gain the freedom that they're looking for, gain that future that they're hoping for. Is it an early retirement thing? Is it more time with the kids? Is it more time with the grandkids? Is it involving their own business? Is it, getting a better return for their money? All of those things that we know about property, that we know how powerful it is. And Michelle then does that. She runs with that and she helps people achieve that. And it's fantastic to hear that passion in her voice and the joy that she gets from helping so many people. Also, the passion and the joy that she gets from educating a lot of people as well, holding these events for all these first-time buyers. Well, she digs into that in the show. Going out to colleges, universities and so on, and helping the next generation think about property, analyse it a certain way, dismiss all of the negative slants that we're continually getting bombarded with on the 24/7 news cycle, putting all that to the side and looking at it simply, clearly, cleanly. How does this work? How does this property stuff work? And then taking them by the hand and guiding them through it all. I really, really loved it. It was a fantastic chat, and you'll pick up the infectious nature from her voice as she shares her story with you. So let's jump into that very story. Without any further ado, Michelle Niziol. So hello Michelle, it's fantastic to have you on This Week in Property. How do we find you today? How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks Richard. How are you?
Fantastic. Really looking forward to the chat, which is great. It's always good to hear more opinions, more experiences, different people's backgrounds. And that's the place I want to start with you. So I want the listeners to get to know you a bit better before we go into our flow of conversation. Okay, so who's this Michelle that Rich has brought in today? What's happening here? If I stopped you and I said to you, what's brought you here? What is it exactly through your career, your background, that you would summarise, you would put in a nice little box that's brought you to this point in your life?
Yeah, sure. Well, I own 5 property and finance firms, and also I'm a property investor myself. And it's a question that everybody always wants to know because I'm so driven and deemed to be successful, and they're like, why do you work 15 to 17 hour days? You must be mental. And do you know what it is? It's just ever since I was tiny. So ever since I was a tiny little girl, I just always knew I was going to run my own business. I was going to get married. I was going to have 2 children. I was going to live in a big, beautiful house. And I was going to invest in a property portfolio. And that is exactly what I did. Wow. So when I bought my first house with my husband. And also then when I was 18, I just thought, well, let's not muck about. I realised that there was equity in the property after about 12 months. Mm-hmm. And then we released equity in order to start a buy-to-let portfolio. Wow. So, it was, so I was 18, so very young, and just always knew what I wanted to do. So, always wanted to build, I think I had that dream of having my own Monopoly board. And Mayfair was always the house that I had when I was a kid.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Just
yeah.
set your standards high from those early days.
So I was always the banker and I always stayed in Mayfair. So, it was realising that dream that I could do it and I could get my own Monopoly board one day. And then what I've done since then is obviously had a lot of joy out of building my own property portfolio, made an awful lot of money, basically just built businesses around my passion for property. And really just absolutely love doing it for clients because I can see what it's done for my life. Yeah. And I just want to recreate that I have spent 20 years of my life. I'm 38 now. So for anyone who can't do the maths there, I'm 38. So I've spent 20 years of my life, really sort of learning everything I can about property and finance. And do you know what? You are never, ever, ever going to know it all because the stuff that I know is very much, my mortgage firm is regulated. We dot the I's, we cross the T's, I do everything very finance driven. Mm-hmm. A bank manager, everything's by the book. And then what I'm starting to get into now is angel investment. So I'm doing a few TV shows. So angel investment, JV partnering, developments. So really, I will, on my deathbed, I'm not going to know absolutely everything about property. And I think that that's what I love about it. Yeah. The people that you meet, the journeys that they've been through. So it's a bit like being a social worker as well, because you really get clients.
So true.
And, the journey that you take them on and then just how happy they are at the end of that journey when they've made a lot of money and you've made a difference to their lives. So very recently, over the last sort of 12 months, I've retired a number of couples. Actually very young, so 40s or 50s, I thought it was possible. Basically refinanced assets, gone out and bought portfolios for them. They don't work anymore. Like a few of them have become maintenance people for my businesses because they don't want to be sitting at home doing anything, but they found themselves, they don't need to work. Yeah. So they're just pottering what makes them happy. So yeah, you can tell the property industry.
It's just so powerful, but isn't it? It can have such a dramatic impact on people's lives. It's incredible how it unlocks the door for so many people's individual stories, individual desires and visions and dreams that they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
In industry.
And so there's very much downtimes, as you know, Richard, in the property industry. I ran businesses through the last recession. Touch wood, I just got my head down, work. None of my staff lost their jobs. And actually, I continued to invest in property because in recessions, house prices do fall. But as long as you don't have to sell, then you haven't got a problem. Yeah. And rents increase. So actually, I, again, through the downtime, learned valuable lessons that then you implement and work even harder. So through the good times are even better.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's something. Funnily enough, one of our directors, Paul, was talking about this morning. We're running one of our events here at PMW offices, and one of the things you started to talk about earlier about the different people, different backgrounds, and how you get to know them and stuff. That really rings true because, just as an example, we've got our platinum group here. That's their kind of higher level clients, if you like. And there's a beautiful couple who are up from Doncaster. And they're sitting talking about their married life, their kids, how they've brought their kids up to Scotland with them for the event, and they're having this fun.
Yeah.
Immediately after them, a guy called Dave steps up onto the stage and he's sharing with us his story about how he's been through war zones. He's been in Iraq, Afghanistan. He's shown how he flies fighter planes and all sorts of things. And then now he's changed his life, his direction and so on. And it's all those people, and they can all connect around that one hub of property. It's remarkable. But why was property at the core of it for you? Because you've explained how you had a very surprising, clear image of your future, from an early age. Why was property have you ever kind of thought about that? Is it something parents, grandparents, anything at all?
No, do you know what? My whole, my family have never invested in property. I mean, my parents have always been, very, you've got to work hard, you've got to get a house, things like that. I think for me, it was like, I'm such a home person. I always have been.
Right.
And me, it was, you know, that dream of the perfect life. You know, I am.
Right.
So it was, you know, looking at, you know, pictures in magazines of houses, and, you know, I like a lot of space. I like a lot of light, and always have done as little, and I'm very tidy. And yeah, I honestly, it's an inbuilt thing. So it's, you know, something I've always been fascinated by money, and not in a crude way, but, you know, what I don't have any fear of money.
Right.
So no fear of finances. So, you know, money does not stress me out, you know, so I'm quite happy to invest as long as numbers work. You know, 2 and 2 equals 4, and you can see, you know, that working on paper, then that's all it is. So for me, like money and finance, and it was just something that, you know, I want to be able to leave for my children as well. And it was something that, you know, property, as you know, is not rocket science. You know, very entrepreneurial, hands-on, but I'm not massively academic. You know, although I'm not absolutely stupid, I'm not, you know, I'm not one of these people that was going to ever go to university and get a PhD or a master's. So for me, it needed to be something that, you know, property I loved because of the actual buildings and having a home. And then as I got older, I understood that, so I trained as an accountant. So I did my AATs, trained as an accountant, and actually just found that side of things too boring because people wouldn't open up.
Right.
And then on the property side, it's amazing. You, as you know, you get to know the ins and outs of their whole life.
Yeah.
And it's that I absolutely love. Like, you just can't put a price on, you know. I can, you know, I'm a mortgage broker by trade as well.
Yeah.
So I can do somebody's mortgage with my eyes shut. I spend, you know, so say an appointment's an hour, I spend 2 minutes telling them that the mortgage is going to cost, you know, X amount per month. And then I spend the rest of the time, with 58 minutes, finding all about them, you know, finding everything about them, you know, what makes them tick, their kids, you know. I think that makes you good at your job, because then if you understand the customer, you know, they will say, don't you, KYC, know your customer. You know, if you understand the customer, that you can actually do the right by them. But it's that I love. So, you know, but I didn't want to. So the mortgage firm that I've got is very transactional.
Right.
So like, you see somebody for an hour, you won't see them for 2 years. You know, you sort of in touch, but you don't really see them for 2 years. So for me, I wanted to build a bespoke business where I'm taking them on a journey for a year or two. So, you know, with them regularly, and that is really like investing and buying houses for them, and you become like a real integral part of their life and their family. It's just in property, like, it has changed my life. So I have a very nice life. My children go to private school, you know, and I haven't, apart from having the guts to do it in the first place, I haven't really done anything. And property is so powerful, you know, and I think that if a lot more, I'm trying to educate as many people as I can, in the sense that it doesn't have to be scary, because you are aware of all the pitfalls and the things that can go wrong. You know, values crashing, as long as you don't need to sell, you'll be fine. Interest rates rising, you know, all of these things that actually, you know, it is a brilliant industry to be in. And obviously, being female, there is not enough females in the industry. So I'm quite an advocate. Yeah, I did a TV show yesterday, and I was the only female in the room. I do a lot of panel shows and, you know, expert panels. And again, I'm always the only female. But, you know, I'm trying to sort of educate people into going, you know, you don't have to be male to be in this industry. And, you know, there is room for everybody. You know, and trying to get youngsters in, because, you know, estate agents has always been like a bit of a swear word, hasn't it? You know,
so true. You know,
I bet your kids don't say, "Oh, mummy, I want to be an estate agent when I grow up," or "Daddy, I want to be a lettings agent when I grow up."
Well, one of them did, but she was forced to leave, so we've just.
So, I'm going into a lot of schools actually and universities at the moment to try and educate that actually the property industry, we've got a bit of a bad name.
Yeah.
Actually, it can be great, great career for people.
Yes. And a freedom for a lot of people as well to do what they want. A lot of people, if you say things like financial freedom, their brain might just jump to a lottery win and a hammock on a Barbados beach. No, it's whatever your freedom is. Is your freedom going away and helping more time with your charity organisations? Is it spending time with your kids and your grandkids? Is it actually spending time working? Going back to yourself, why do you work 15, 17 hours a day? Because you don't have to. That's correct. But I love it. You obviously love it. You've obviously got a passion for it. And you have the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just tremendous. Because I think there's too many people with too many regrets at the end of it.
Yeah.
The end of the whole journey. Why did I do that? Why did I spend 30, 40 years in that cubicle or that particular job that I didn't enjoy?
Absolutely. And do you know what my motto is? And I say to all my staff, I must drive them mad. Like, if you're not happy, do something that makes you happy. I didn't have, I've got 2 small children, and both times I've never had much maternity leave. But I make sure that I make time for my kids. So I work crazy hours, but I'm with them in the morning. I pick Zachary up from school as much as I can, and then I'm with them in the evening. And then I make work around them.
Yeah.
But if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be me.
Yeah. Exactly.
I never want to ever have any regrets. So if I want to, I just go for it and just, don't hold back. And, if you're happy, then everybody else around you is happy.
Yes, so true. And I can really personally resonate with that, because the work that I do is crazy hours and early mornings and late nights and stuff, but the freedom and the flexibility is still there. That every morning, I'm taking my girls to, I've got 3 girls, so I take them to school, picking them up. Even when we go on events, when we travel down to London and stuff, for example, right, let's go, pack your suitcases, you're coming with me. And we go down and they see, they're seeing a bigger life, they're seeing what's possible. All right, okay. So I don't have to sit inside my high school and primary school and just listen to some guidance counsellor trying to force me down a road. I could actually be like a Michelle. I could actually design my own life. I could dream up my own picture. They can have that, and it opens people's minds, I think. When the more success stories that you're creating yourself, people are talking about you and passing that on further, aren't they? And getting more clients involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is just like doing what you've always wanted to do. I mean, the service that I offer is, I have spent 20 years, doing what I do. So a lot of us have the passion for property, but they also might run a business, things, whatever, which they also love. So, they haven't got, I've dedicated 24/7, 20 years, to doing what I do. So I offer a bespoke service where I get to do it all. I have to do it all because I'm a control freak. But they get the end result. I mean, I actually love doing everything. I built my own house as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it just doesn't stress me out. There's a lot that stress me out, like washing and cleaning, and I outsource all of that because that doesn't make me happy.
Yes.
But anything to do with, I've got a weird addiction to renovating offices. It costs me a fortune. They look beautiful, but you just got to do. Point being, you just got to do what makes you happy, and absolutely. So you don't love property, love the freedom that you just said, love the freedom that it actually gives you or could give you. And I think that's what I love about it. I think I love the people as much as I love the physical property. And money in the bank don't hurt as well.
Yeah, of course. That's the results. That's the byproduct. That's, I think, it's going to be coming. Because I love the psychology you've got. That it's almost like a gamesmanship approach to money. I can feel there's no desperation for them. Oh, I need to get it. I need to hoard it. It's that Monopoly board feel about it. Oh, this is fun. Oh, see if I get this. And yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, I have clients come in and see me, they're absolutely terrified. And I just say, trust me, honestly, just trust me, because at the end of this, you won't have to do a thing. You won't even have to think. Do you know, I don't think about the properties that I own. I don't think about it like it being a pain, or I have a letting agency that manage it. But it's the fun that comes with it. And yeah, I'm not, to be honest, like I'm not driven for the money. I'm driven for the success and how it makes me feel that, you know, when you buy, I bought another property for my portfolio about 4 weeks ago. And again, it just makes you feel that you've worked hard, that you've been able to buy another property. So it's all about feelings rather than physical cash, to be honest with me.
Yes, exactly. And that's what you remember. That's what you carry forward. That's what the memories are. Do you remember that deal with the £27,500 profit? No. Okay, well, you remember it was this beautiful thing and their face lit up and I remember that one.
Yeah.
Because we're human, you know, we're not robots. That's fantastic.
Today I have not had, so I buy my clients' properties and they don't see them. Not because, just because a lot of them are very busy.
Sure.
What I do is we get together at some point a day where they can dedicate 2 or 3 hours to me, and I take them round the properties that I've purchased for them.
Right.
Really scary, because this could go horribly wrong if they. But today, and I've been doing this for a number of years now, I've not had one client where they have been gutted, or their little faces when I take them around and they go, wow, I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. Like, you know, and then you think it's just a massive, like, satisfaction feeling. You've done that for somebody. I mean, I joke and I say, you know, in 10 years' time, you'll be sending me a bouquet of flowers because I'll have made you £100,000 on each of one of them. You know, so, for my first bunch of flowers on that. But, you know, it's just the pure joy of knowing that you've done that for somebody, and that, just love it. Just love it for the next thing as well.
Yeah, and if people are listening in just now, and obviously if you're hearing Michelle talking, you remember and jump into your show note pages, listeners, and you can see all of our links there off to our businesses. If they're doing that, actually, this sounds quite interesting. That sounds like someone I might want to get in touch with. What should they prepare themselves for? What I mean by that is there a maximum amount of time you would work with them? Is it purely building up portfolios that they will buy to let, or do you maybe do some buy to sell, you know, kind of flip projects with them? How should we prepare them mentally?
Yeah, personally, I don't do buy to flip in the market because, you know, property for me is a long-term plan.
Right.
It's got to be minimum of 10 years investment, really. I've never had a client sell so far, but you'll have them times where you might need to release equity or whatever. But initially, if they're coming to me, then it's got to be a 10 to 15 year plan.
Right.
And they need minimum, you know, the 25% deposits plus the fees. So where I live in Oxfordshire, you're looking at a minimum investment of 80,000 to cover absolutely everything, fees wise, and then we finance the rest.
Right.
So a key criteria is they've got to be up for it. So they don't necessarily need to know anything. You need to have 80,000 to invest, and it needs to be a long-term plan. So it needs to be a long-term investment. And that's sort of like key criteria. They don't necessarily, I can deal with first-time landlords. So, you know, first-time landlords. So if anyone is listening who's 18 and wants to do what I did, I can do that. You know, and actually, I would love that, because the younger they are, you know, they could be a little mini me, couldn't they?
Exactly. One to mould and guide along. That would be fantastic, yeah. Do you get a lot from that? I mean, is that why you do the talks at the universities and the colleges and the schools you were talking about? Is that a thing, being a mentor? Is that part of the passion for you?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely love it. You know, and I don't even knew that that's what I did, but I absolutely love it. So I put on first-time buyer events through one of my companies, and they're completely free of charge. And we have hundreds of first-time buyers come every event that I hold, and I'm normally one of the guest speakers. And it's basically just educating them, because I think there's a lot of fear in the property sector. I think that you need to be perfect, you need to have the perfect bank statements, you need to have 50 grand in the bank. It's absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
I bought my first house with a 5% deposit. Yes, house prices have increased since I bought my first house, but there are schemes out there to help you. Shared ownership, help to buy. And I've got mortgage broker. Well, obviously I'm qualified in it myself, but I also have specialists that work for me. And we're on like the help to buy panel in Oxfordshire. So I do a lot of training, educating, going into schools, universities, just because the average first time buyer, it breaks my heart, is like 37. And it's
really,
yeah, where we live,
wow,
it's about 37. And it's like, where has the passion gone for people to own homes? I saved really hard for I had 3 jobs. So from when I was 14, I had 3 jobs, and I saved really hard for my deposit. It took forever, but I got there. And it's like, where is the emphasis on, people saving up and getting scraping together a 5% deposit and getting a ladder, So, and we hold these events, and they've been really successful. So we've managed to get a lot of youngsters on the housing ladder.
Great.
Which make me feel great.
Yeah, you must take a lot from that, a lot of fulfillment from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
just call me like the Mother Teresa of the property finance world. I'm doing it.
There it is. That's a new tagline.
I'm doing it for everybody else's benefit, Rich, not my own.
Oh my goodness. Tremendous.
Now, on my deathbed, I am also looking at setting up a charity for youngsters to get more into business, because I don't think there's enough emphasis on there.
Yes.
Youngsters, I was very young when I set up my first business, and it wasn't, people like to say that I'm a bit unusual because I don't have any fear of things like that, but it wasn't difficult, I'll be honest with you. Difficult, and I managed to do it, and I'm not Brain of Britain. So there needs to be a lot of education around supporting youngsters in young enterprise.
And if I say to you, what's been the biggest challenge for you, would you then just dismiss that and say, no, it's really been easy? Or is there some part you remember in the journey that, well, actually, when such and such happened?
Yeah, do you know what my biggest challenge is, and my team know this, is staff.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. And I don't hide away from that. It's something that I do. I'm quite open about. I've been open with the team. Right. Because I take on all their problems, and I'm not the best manager in the world. I'm so hands-off because I'm so entrepreneurial. I'm so hands-off. Like, they might not see me from one week to the next. Yeah. Because I'm concentrating on working for my clients, and I'm concentrating on progressing my career. Mm-hmm. They're very well paid and they love their jobs, but I wouldn't say, that I'm the best manager on the planet, because I try really hard to work on that. But I just expect them to be, I think that I'm normal in what I do and the hours that I work. And, they keep saying to me, Michelle, what you do is not normal. You've got to understand sometimes when we can't do what you do. And it's been my biggest challenge, and I think it will be my biggest challenge is staff. So property I find easy. You want me to sort of mention a challenge that I've had in property? The biggest one was when we built our house and we dug the basement out to make a cinema room. Mm-hmm. It was the trade-off of I wanted a dressing room, so I had to build my husband a cinema room. So we'd spent £50,000 digging this basement out, and the builders came to me and said, Michelle, you didn't want a swimming pool, but you've got a swimming pool. No. I recommend that we fill it in, because we've had 3 contractors walk off, and I was like, absolutely not. So I chucked another 100 grand in, and it could have been 150 grand down the drain. And I was confident. I was just like, no, I am not wasting 50 grand. I'd rather it cost me another 100 grand than wasting 50 grand, because I hate wasting money. And to this day, we've got a very nice cinema room, but that was touch and go. That was a really tough time.
Wow.
Weeks, it was like the Thames gushing through, the basement of our property. So, first world problems, Richard.
This is it. This is so true. And there's always these examples that pop up. And what about the nice side of the coin? What about the things that really lifted you? The pinnacles, the case, the client that that was perfect helping those people, or that was tremendous winning that portfolio purchase. Is there any ones that stick in your head?
Do you know what? Every single one of them. I love like the first, I just love, and I know it sounds really cheesy, but like the first time buyers that, you're helping them through that journey to get on the ladder, that's always amazing.
Yeah.
Probably, the couples that I have retired at a young age, one client came into me and all they came into me for, they thought they were coming in for a buy-to-let remortgage, walked out with me buying them like 9 properties.
Wow.
So there, and I just sort of said to them, look, I can liquidate some of these assets and I can carve it up and I can buy a portfolio of 9 properties, which is going to net you about £5,000 per month income. And wow. And it just went, okay, let's do it. And we did. That was phenomenal. They stayed very, very good friends.
I bet.
Yeah. And actually, do you know, it's amazing because I only buy the properties, I don't know about yourself, but I only buy the properties for, other people that I would buy for myself. So
yes.
Get in that headspace when I'm buying for clients,
mm-hmm.
where I'm buying for a client, I'm buying for myself, and then their money, I mean, sometimes I do get home, like I've just got 40 grand off that asking price. Why didn't I buy that one? But the clients pay me to do it. So, you've got to get into that headspace where, it's for you. But yeah, I've had so many, and I think that's why I love this job, is that, and for my team. So I say I find staff very difficult because I'm such a hands-off manager. But I have, watched them. I mean, they're on phenomenal salaries working for me because there is a trade-off. I'm not there very much. You have to manage yourself, but for that, you're going to be well paid. They pretty much have all bought, much bigger properties since coming to work for me, having a better quality of life. I love, I'm one of these weird people that I get so excited about giving bonuses. A lot of companies will sort of shy away from that. And I know they're not, but they know it's all true, is that, bonus time for me, cost me an absolute fortune, but I get more excited than they do, because I know what a difference that's going to make to them.
Yeah.
So I'm a giver,
You're running about like Santa Claus with a bag full of bonuses.
Yeah. It's like, it just makes you feel on top of the world when you do stuff like that for people.
Yeah, totally. One of the best parts of the business. And tell me, are you finding time to still do a lot of your writing? Because with the magazines and some of the journals, you were doing regular columns and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you still managing to do that as well?
Yeah, that's like 2 a.m. job.
Right. Is that how you structure it, is it?
Yeah, to be fair, I have to be so organised and structured. So if I do go into the office, I tend to not get left alone. So I tend to not go in the office too much. And then to have a day where I'm podcasting, a day where I'm writing articles. I spent the last 2 days filming. So yeah, I try and just make sure that I'm completely structured. I have got, for actually anyone listening, there is a brilliant, I don't know what you use, but I use Trello as a to-do list.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely amazing. I can't show you my Trello board because it's got obviously data protection and all that. But if you saw it, it's absolutely insane with the amount of things that are on there. But it's just making sure, actually, you just got to be so organised in your home life as well. Yeah. I don't know how, people ask me how I managed to do it all. I don't really know. I think I just compartmentalise everything.
Yes.
So I go, right, doing that, and I don't let myself get distracted by other things.
That's right.
Today I knew I was doing this, and so I made sure that I was doing all other podcast shows and my own podcast shows. So group it all together, and then I don't do client-facing stuff today.
That's it. It's all nicely grouped. Yeah, it makes the brain work much better. You get much more done, and that's why you yourself get so much done. And someone is like, how on earth is she managing that? Is she sleeping? What's going on?
Yeah, I love sleeping. People think that I can have on 2 or 3 hours. I can't. I love sleeping. It's my favourite thing to do. But when you know what it's like, Richard, you wake up in the middle of the night and you go, oh, I need to do that, or I've got this great idea. I can't go back to sleep then. Yeah. So the laptop is down by the side of the bed. So I get the laptop out and start working. It's just crazy.
Brilliant. And for your own show, you mentioned your own podcast. How can people find you and add them into their podcast players?
Yeah, sure. So we've got 3 podcasts. We've got Niziol Bespoke Property Matters. We've got Michelle Means Business, which is purely a female sort of podcast.
Right.
We've got Michelle's first time buyer one. I think if you
it's a pure focus.
Yeah.
Tremendous. That's brilliant. So they can see all of these links in the show notes. Now, I want to be respectful of your time, so I just start to bring things to a wee close for you. How do you see things going forward? And not for yourself, but for the UK. We've mentioned fear a couple of times and how you're very skillful at not falling into that trap, and you help clients not fall into the trap about fear, because this constant news cycle about fear and Brexit and crashes and stock markets and money and gloom and doom and everything else. What's your personal take on things going forward with the UK property market?
Oh, the press just have such a negative, a negative person. It's like, I'm a realist. Yeah. So, these things are always going to happen. Property has a 10-year cycle, doesn't it? So I think that's part of the excitement of it as well, though. So as long as you're always positive and you understand, the downfalls, the pitfalls, can you afford the mortgages if you don't have a tenant, things like that, then you can't really go wrong. But genuinely, I see, we have to build more houses. We are, what did the government set? 300,000 per year, and they're not hitting that quota. No. So there is a real shortage, basically. So, which really is a positive thing, because if there's a housing shortage, then we need more houses. So hence investing in bricks and mortar is going to be the best place to put your money, really. But also, Bank of England, they've kept their rates relatively low. And obviously, we're one of the leading mortgage brokerages in Oxfordshire, so we're doing an awful lot of mortgages still. So it's very positive in where I live, in the southeast. I can't comment for the whole of the country, but, I think everyone's just got to stay positive, not listen to the doom and gloom. We will go through what we need to go through with Brexit when it happens. The delay actually, I thought, would have a massive negative effect on the business. And actually, do you know what? Everyone's just so fed up of hearing the B word that they've just gone, do you know what? It's going to happen, so let's just forget about it.
Yeah, get back to normal and just keep going.
Yeah. So I would say, got to stay positive. I do think that house prices, they can't keep going up forever. Properties would be unobtainable for everybody. But I do think that, they're always going to be building. And people have always got to have somewhere to live. So
simple supply and demand stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So lastly, going from the big country down to just Michelle's little world, what's in the future for your little bubble? How do you see that unfolding? Is it the same manic chaos? Is it a different pivot in direction, or where are we going?
So I'm always going to work. Like this is just me. It's just an inbuilt thing where, even when I've got the flu or whatever, I'm still on my emails. So, for me personally, it's about the education more, that going in. I've got a few universities that I'm visiting soon, going in and speaking to the students, a lot more TV and radio and media. I love film, so property shows that I'm doing at the moment. I'm actually investing as well, so I'm doing a show called Property Elevator, where I'm an angel investor. So I'm starting to invest in other people's projects. So they don't have funding. They've come to myself and 4 other angel investors for funding. And that's really exciting because you get to then go on their journey. So help them with the funding for one, but also 2, they gain their experience from you. So like being a dragon on Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of philosophy. I like that.
Yeah. So my sort of, not my job is done in my businesses as such, but, IMS Property Group, I've got heads of departments and that tends to run itself, which is great. And then my business, Michelle Niziol, is about probably 50% media, 50% buying portfolios for clients, because I've still got a love for that. I've still not done there. Still got a lot of people's lives to change where I can. So
tremendous. Fingers in so many pies. I love it. Makes it all exciting. Correct. Keeps you or it should do. I think you can probably still schedule in time for mischief. Fantastic. Right, I better let you get back to one of those many pies that you're dealing with. But for your time today, Michelle, on This Week in Property, thank you very much. Thanks
for having me, Richard. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Hi folks, it's Richard here again. I really hope that you enjoyed today's show. Now listen, I've got 2 links to help support you on your property journey, and I want you to write these down when it's safe to do so. You might be driving in your car just now listening to the podcast, and that's fine, but please make sure that you get back to this and write down these links. Okay, are you ready? Got your pen in hand? So the first one, thisweekinproperty.com. Now that's the website for this podcast. On there, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out. What you can also do on there is catch up on tons and tons of past episodes. There are hours and hours of property related content and some amazing guests with some fantastic insights to help you on your property journey. So that is thisweekinproperty.com. Okay, next link, propertyprotege.com. Now let me spell that one out for you. PROPERTY PROTEGE. That's propertyprotege.com. Now what's it all about? Well, the Property Protege Intensive is designed to give you the lift that you need into the world of property. And if you've already started, if you've already got some experience, then this can help you accelerate your progress even further. The experiences that people have had at Protege and the success that they've achieved afterwards has been life-changing for many people. So go there right now if you're serious about property and if you want to build a highly successful property business. That's propertyprotege.com. So there you go. That's 2 links to some fantastic resources that are going to help you. And listen, talking about help, can you help me to help other people? You see, the more that we can share this podcast, then more people can learn from the fantastic guests that I've been so lucky to talk to. How can you help? Well, it's very simple and very quick. Just a short review on iTunes is going to help make that happen. If you go to thisweekinproperty.com/iTunes, that will guide you to the very place that you will be able to help other people. So thank you. Thanks for doing that, and thanks for listening into the show. And I look forward to bringing another great guest to you in the next show.